I'm Max Thompson.
I'm Ishmael Johnson.
I'm Greg Tepper.
And we are Texas high school football experts breaking down the Friday Night Lights TV show, Season 3. All right, guys, quick recap again on why we're doing this. Long story short, we have a daily show on TexasFootball.com called Texas Football Today, where we talk about high school and college and all kinds of football and random things that aren't even about football in the Lone Star State. And our fans simply could not believe that we had never seen the Friday Night Lights TV show. And so, as our off-season project, we are powering through. We're in the home stretch, by the way. We're over the hump. The entire TV series.
A large hump.
Yes. And I will say, not to spoil the rest of this episode, this was the most pleasant experience thus far as the seasons go. A summary.
One man's opinion.
Right. A summary. I know many of the reasons why you don't like this season, and that's okay. We'll talk about them. A summary, if you'll give me a moment. Coach Taylor has to decide between quarterbacks again in the most improbable scenario ever, and Satan's personally trained helicopter dad is here to ruin the show forever. Meanwhile, it pains me to say this, but this is the season of redemption, where all the things you didn't like about every character seem to fade from memory, and everyone gets a happy ending. Worst of all for Tepper, Tim Riggins has become like the best dude. Gentlemen, your 60-second reaction to this season.
I'll let Ishmael go first.
Okay, so, and go.
All right.
Yeah, the season literally starts out with, hey, you hate season 2? Awesome. None of that happened, or none of that matters. like
we're just going to skip ahead.
We're just going to skip ahead. None of that matters. By the way, they lost in the first round. Who cares? Whatever. Hey, look, new season. I agree with you. It was the most enjoyable part, or enjoyable watch so far that we've had.
It was low bar.
Low bar, right. But I was telling Greg before we started filming, I finally see why people like this show. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know why they stuck with it through two bad seasons, especially, right. When it didn't look like it was getting it. Like, we knew it was going to get better because people told us.
Right.
Well, if I was watching in 2006, 2007, I wouldn't have known. I would have stopped watching.
Yeah.
But I finally know why. The characters are back. The characters we love are back. Some redemption arcs are there. Storylines work. It's about football. Yeah. I did enjoy this season.
All right. 4 seconds to spare. Greg Tepper, your turn.
And go. I would like to personally congratulate Peter Berg and the creators of Friday Night Lights for finally doing the unthinkable and turning the show into something that qualifies as passable television. It's amazing what happens when you stop going out there and having some of your characters murder people out of thin air, and maybe, ditching some of the most unlikable characters in television history, or maybe just giving them something to do. So congratulations to the creators of Friday Night Lights. You did it. You found a way through the slog to make a show that I didn't actively hate watching. Because the first 2 seasons, they were bad. But this season, actually, a season of television. And that is the highest compliment I can pay to this show.
4 seconds to spare as well. Congratulations, gentlemen. This is turning out to be the most pleasant episode ever.
I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it either.
I didn't hate it.
There just wasn't that much that I could really complain about, and I think the record will show in our grades at the end that the Texas high school football not as bad in this one.
Yeah.
Let's just jump right into it.
Okay.
Right or wrong? You should just gloss over the ending of the previous football season in a football show.
Max, I disagree with the premise of your question.
I kind of do too.
It's not a football show.
It's a right or wrong. Oh, it's not a football show.
Okay.
It's not a football show.
Who was the one clamoring the whole last review episode that this is supposed to be a football show and there's a murderer?
I know. But that's when I gave up on this being a football show.
Okay.
This isn't a football show.
Fair enough.
That said, it's very clearly a device that the writers used to hopefully, I really think you're exactly right, Ish. I think they went back and they said, oh boy, season 2 was a disaster. Why don't we just gloss over that and just put a real quick bow on it and just move on?
Yeah.
And it's very there's not even threads hanging on from last year.
Nope.
I mean, The one thread is that apparently Jason Street knocked up his girlfriend that we met for 5 seconds at the end of season 2.
Right.
It's like that's the one thread that carries over.
Right.
Other than that, it's like basically be like, all right, let's just start over. It'll be fun, right?
Clean slate.
Yeah. So I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm okay with it. Like when the season started, you're like, oh wait, oh god, okay, they got eliminated, blah blah blah. I'm okay with them just saying, yeah, by the way, they got knocked out in the first round, smashed towards ACL, blah blah blah. All right, cool, new season, let's start all over. Yeah. Like I didn't want to continue that season.
Yeah.
Like I didn't care. I think I would have been mad if they went on to win the state championship because none of that season justified, none of the on-field stuff justified them winning a state championship. And then I probably would have been mad if they would have wasted extra episodes just to get eliminated in the first round. Because I was like, oh, I went through all that for just them to get knocked out. So like either way, I would have been annoyed. So I'm glad that they just blew that off and just like, you know what, just start completely over.
They just hit the eject button.
Right.
Like, nope.
I was like, oh, that was embarrassing. Let's not do that again.
We're done here.
Yeah.
All right.
So the answer, so right or wrong?
I think it's right. I think this is. The right call.
I think it's right.
I think it is the right.
I think in context, this is right.
I think this is the right call too. All right, right or wrong? The amount of media in Dillon. Again, I don't know if you guys saw this. With the beginning of the first episode,
there's
a huge press scrum. They shoot there's a camera shot behind Coach Taylor at the media. There's like 9 to 12 people here.
This is like a Tom Herman
with
press
also with press badges right here. Like, who else would they be? Like any of us are anyway.
Were they wearing the press hats too?
Yeah.
Be like, what a scoop!
It's news.
This is. I mean, I just threw this in here because I couldn't stand not to. It's not something we need to break down. It's just like no.
That's a Tom Herman game week press conference on a Tuesday.
And here's the other thing, like, if you want to squint and you want to say, okay, in season 1, they entered the season as the number 1 team, not just in the state, but maybe in the country.
Right. Sure.
They were the team that everyone was talking about. Yep. If you want to say that there's a big group of like, there's a lot of media around them, I get it. This is a first round playoff flameout.
Yeah.
This is a dime a dozen program at the moment.
In a mid-sized city in Texas.
Yep.
That was the part that I was like, no, absolutely not.
Like 7 people are there.
Yeah.
Like you're a forgotten thing until you prove you can win again.
No, you might have a reporter stumble in and do the normal preseason thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That was wholly unbelievable.
This whole season is dominated by the JD McCoy storyline and its many absurdities. We start with the first right or wrong. When mentioning him in the press conference, a reporter cites the fact that he set state middle school records, and that was a thing. Right or wrong? Is that a thing, Greg Tepper?
So, let me start with this.
State middle school record.
No, not a thing. Okay, that doesn't. There's no federation of middle schools. Okay, that I should let you know in Texas. Like we like football here in the state of Texas. There's no middle school federation. Okay, that said, here's the only thing I will say. As somebody who has to update the record books in Dave Campbell's Texas football, which is, it's the Bible of Texas football,
Sure.
I will tell you, I definitely have people emailing me, telling me, hey, my son set a middle school record for rushing touchdowns in a year. Now, my response to them is always, no, he didn't. But there are definitely people trying to pass that off as a thing. That said, we're the gatekeepers, right? Yeah. In some way, shape, or form, we are the gatekeepers. No, middle school records aren't a thing.
That's hilarious.
They are 11.
Part 2 of 25 of the JD McCoy story. Right or wrong, a 3-year state championship quarterback would feel threatened by a freshman of any kind or sort.
I think. See, my answer to this is. Do we know, or has the show pitched to us the idea that Saracen is a good quarterback? Because he's had how many good games in how many great offensive games has Dillon had in 2 seasons now of watching?
I would agree.
Like I agree with the overall premise, right? No, he shouldn't feel right.
He was great in the state championship.
I guess so. I guess in the premise of the question in general, no, right? 3 years starting quarterback shouldn't feel threatened, but I don't know if Saracen's supposed to be a good quarterback.
Right.
Like, I legitimately don't know.
Can I also throw out that the easiest fix for this, and I don't understand why it has to be this way, the easiest fix for this storyline is he's a sophomore.
Right, just make him a sophomore.
He's not a freshman.
Right.
I'm like, no, I don't care. Like if Matt,
like a sophomore move.
I don't care if
something.
Matt Saracen is an average quarterback who won a state championship. He still won a state championship, and no freshman, no
Right.
8th grader coming into the high school is threatening him.
I think we're approaching this a little bit incorrectly, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because in the end, it's a coach's decision who plays.
Right. Yeah.
Like, here is the most unbelievable idea of this. The most unbelievable idea is that a Texas high school football coach would look at a 3-year starter senior
who he trusts implicitly,
who led you to a state championship, and be like, oh well, here is this 14-year-old who just walked in, and he seems pretty cool.
Well, by the way, we've already seen that he's chose Saracen before.
Yes,
like Voodoo Tatum was like supposedly that guy.
Yeah.
And more experienced with a state championship under his belt.
Right.
And he already chose Saracen. So it's like, okay, but this guy's better? It is really odd.
Instead, he goes with the Great White Hope,
Yeah.
JD McCoy, which is a whole other story.
I just do not understand.
Yeah.
That was one of the most unbelievable things about this season was the idea that like a coach, that Texas high school football coaches would just say, oh, you know what, experience overrated.
Yeah.
Instead, let's just throw this guy in there. I mean, this happens at programs all around the state that you have a 3-year starter, and maybe you believe that the freshman is going to be the guy, but he's going to be the guy.
Right.
What you do is you say, hey, you know what? You follow him around. You follow our starter around. You learn everything right
you
now.
can from him.
That
so
was
you're ready.
the JD. That was the thing that drove me most nuts about the JD McCoy storyline was that he just walked in and was like, oh yeah, he's just like going to talent his way onto the field. It doesn't work like that.
Right,
like experience matters. I think in a big way, especially experience in big games where you're expected to win a state championship in Dillon every single year.
Yeah. No, I think that's right. Right or wrong, a coach might get bribed to get a kid to play.
I'm willing to give it a right.
I'm willing to give it a right.
Yep.
I would say that there have been.
I want to leave this scotch and this cigar here. For
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
I would say that is something that I don't think coaches are particularly susceptible to.
No.
But I think parents are.
Yeah.
And they are perfectly willing to do that. I would say yeah, that they got that right. I don't know if that's like widespread, but it definitely happened.
It would have been way more of a gangster move for him to be like, I'm taking this and I'm never playing your kid.
Right.
Yeah, that would have been really good. Be like, hey, thanks for this. By the way, I just kicked your kid off the team. that would have been a real baller
Good
move.
scotch.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love scotch. Scotchy scotch. Here it goes down. Okay, this is all part of this damn JD McCoy thread.
Okay.
Right or wrong, switching to a completely different offense, in this case the spread, for a single game, and then after that, alternating each drive, I formation, spread. Like, these aren't related, guys.
Yeah.
These aren't the whole premise. We're just installing a whole new offense for this game to see if it works. It ain't gonna work. You know why? Because you just put it in for this game.
There are teams, and a lot of teams, I think most coaches would say if you ask them what is your offensive scheme, they would say we're multiple.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, that's fine. I understand that.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that spread teams don't have goal line formations.
Right. Yeah.
Right? That
Right.
does happen.
Right.
But the idea that you are going to operate in 2 different schemes simultaneously in high school where you're trying to get 15-year-olds to run your offense. No, that did not pass the smell test. You have an identity. And again, you can have different wrinkles to it.
Yeah.
But like the idea of like, oh, we have this whole playbook that's the spread, and oh, by the way, we have the second playbook and it's the I formation. That didn't pass the smell
Well, I
test.
forget. It doesn't work, right?
No.
Like at least they get that part right, where
Right.
it's like, hey, guess what? This offense is actually kind of messed up.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
none of the players know what to do. They're both out of sync. So like, no, they wouldn't do it. But at least they don't make it click automatically and like they have this 2 quarterback thing going really flawlessly. It actually like, no, this is actually kind of a bad idea and really stupid.
Yeah.
So like it actually, I think they retcon it somewhat by having it completely fall apart.
Correct. That saved it.
Yeah.
But like,
Or it's like I was afraid like, oh, they're gonna win 45-0.
What state champion coach is dumb enough
Right.
to do that?
Right.
I mean,
that's the
again,
thing.
this sort of flies in the face of the idea. Like we keep getting told that Coach Taylor is a genius, but he does a lot of not very genius things.
Yes.
Like
Like,
entertaining this idea.
Like this is something he does next year.
Right.
When he has
Yes.
JD McCoy the full time, he's like,
Yeah.
all right, we're going to this.
Well, we got a full
you know?
off season to install it. We'll go.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Right or wrong? A real Texas high school football coach's wife would just give away the danged barbecue.
No, prepping. No, he's going it. Okay, go for it.
This was insulting. This was insulting to my intelligence and insulting to the hundreds and thousands of high school football coach wives out there in Texas. Guys, if you want to know who actually runs the program, it's the high school coach's wife. They are the ones who are operating behind the scenes and making all this happen. And the idea that Tami Taylor would be dumb enough to essentially be snookered out of her own barbecue is so insulting to Texas high school football coaches' wives that I am hurt and offended and hurt.
Just, I couldn't.
I was like, we're supposed to believe that Tami Taylor is simultaneously smart enough to hold the certifications to be a counselor and a principal just by walking in off the street. Because
And
remember, she
volleyball
didn't
coach.
get that job.
And volleyball coach.
And volleyball coach. She's smart enough to do that. But like the moment that somebody says, hey, I'm going to kind of pull one over on you, she's like,
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, boy, thank you so much. You're from Dallas. Oh, darn, you're just so darn smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was, no.
I had the burgundy, your hair looks stupid rage eyes the minute this whole thing unfolded.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
Absolutely not. You have this is the one time Tami Taylor is dumb.
Yeah.
In the entirety of the show.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That did not pass the smell
Does not
test.
happen.
No.
Right or wrong? Matt Saracen plays the game of his life. We are basically told as it's happening, it's the game of his life. He's bloody, bruised, beaten up, playing his butt off, but he fumbles as he tries to score the game winner, so he's bad now.
Yeah, no. Like, again, they have the out of just Saracen being bad.
Right.
Like, he could just
He
play
could just
bad.
be- just
He
play
could
bad.
just play bad because we've barely seen him play good. So, like, they had the out of saying, look, he threw 4 picks and he's fumbling the ball. But they haven't, like you said, they haven't played the game of his life. And then he fumbles after almost single-handedly scoring the winning touchdown and winning the game. It's like, oh, there's Saracen. It's like, no, just have him play a bad game throughout.
This once again comes back to one of the main problems with this show, which is the announcers as narrators.
Oh, God.
Because the announcers...
Man, these announcers have a great eye because they see some stuff just because that's
Yes.
a main character.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like, Landry, what a block.
Yeah, or it's like he's running a wheel route. It's like, oh, well, you're going to be able to diagnose that, right?
Yeah, wow,
That's
okay,
awesome.
all right.
But that's the thing, is that these announcers, because they need to move the plot along, everything has to be like the best or worst thing that's ever happened.
Right.
I mean, you remember back in season 1, whenever like he goes, like they lose they're about to lose their second game of the year, and they start talking about how, oh boy, Coach Taylor, who again is new to the job and 3 games in, his job's on the line here.
Yeah.
It's like everything has to be heightened so much, and I think that's the fault of the announcers more than anything. It's like, oh, he's playing so amazing. Oh my gosh, he fumbled. He's the worst quarterback of all time.
This is a weird right or wrong because it's really just about hammering home a point that I wanted to keep hammering home because it's one of Tepper's best points. Right or wrong, Coach Taylor's lack of institutional control allowed McCoy's dad to eventually take over the program.
He has no control of his program. He basically...
Everyone's playing
he can't-
chess,
Yeah.
and he is not.
He can't get everybody to show up to practice.
Yeah.
Riggins is gone half the
He's
time.
just drunk.
Riggins just leaves.
Just leaving.
He just leaves random.
Just fine. Coach Taylor, for apparently a great coach, has no control over this program.
Right.
And it goes into... Now, again, I fully recognize, and I want to be clear, that when you're a Texas high school football coach, you're serving a lot of masters, right? You are serving the school board. You are serving the principal. You are serving, sometimes if you are not the athletic director, you're serving the athletic director. You're serving the booster club. You're serving the parents. You've got to be a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And I understand that. But the idea that once again, he is going to let this, he's going to let this helicopter dad just zoom in and hover over him.
Yeah.
No, you run the program. Kick him out of your office. Just kick him, get him away. You have means of doing that, and he never he never does that. He's just oh, well, I guess you just live here now.
Right.
That would be this is the equivalent. This is the equivalent of me coming home. All right, I walk into my house, walk into my kitchen, and Max is there in my kitchen just making eggs.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, I guess this is your kitchen.
Yeah. I guess I can't kick you out.
For a guy who's who is built up to be this ultimate guy, ultimate backbone, and he's just a tough guy and stuff like that. Boy, he will just let anybody walk all over him, whether it's Buddy Garrity or McCoy's dad.
Right.
Yeah.
My
He's
God.
he's very bad at playing politics.
Yeah.
He thinks he interprets playing politics as I just let them do what they want, right?
Yeah.
And it's no, you can. It's okay. You can. You have a state title now. I get it. I get it. You're probably on some shaky ground after getting knocked out in the first round, but you can tell the parent to get away. That's fine.
Yeah. Anyway, right or wrong, a Texas high school football playoff game on a Friday will be broadcast on national TV. It's a complicated one.
This is a complicated one. So, for those who don't know, and we have railed against this before on this program, you cannot air live Texas high school football games on Friday nights during the regular season. There is a UIL rule against that. That's what made it so nuts. I think it was episode 2. Where Jason Street is sitting in his hospital room watching the game.
Yeah.
I'm what in the hell is going on?
Totally
A bad
makes
start
sense.
for the show.
No big deal.
Now, in the playoffs, you can. You can televise games live. Where things get tricky is with the national TV thing. Because you will see a lot of local stations, or you will see streaming services like Texan Live that will air these games live. But I don't think we've ever seen a national outlet like an ESPN or an FS1 or an NBC Sports Network come in and say, hey, we want to go and do this. Basically because I am fairly certain that because the UIL actually owns, they don't technically own the regular season games, but they do own the playoff games. I'm pretty sure, I would need to check this. I think the UIL has to sign off on people televising the games, or even when they're live. Now, they'll do it for almost every, as long as you're as long as you're not Bob's channel, but I will say that no, this has not happened before. I'm not sure if it can. I'm honestly, I haven't dug into the TV.
I don't know.
enough.
We've seen it done out of state, right? You've seen the Bishop Gormans, right?
Yes.
The Modern Days, although they're on ESPN, they're on all that, but obviously Texas is governed by the UIL, and there are more restrictions as far as broadcasting goes.
Yes.
So yeah, we've seen that. People outside the state probably look at that and it's oh, of course.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But not, it's something that just doesn't happen necessarily here.
Yeah. Right or wrong, a school board would oust a good coach for dumb reasons.
Yep.
100%.
Great storyline.
You guys nailed it. This guy,
complaints.
he was, I think that this is exactly right, is that definitely happens.
Yeah.
Every single year in Texas, high school football coaches are fired because of politics.
Yeah.
That they are great coaches and they've done nothing wrong, but they have made the wrong enemies. So that was something that I was like, oh yeah, I know where you're getting at. I don't know if I love all the elements that added to it, but that brought into it. But I will say that definitely is something that happens.
I know that I did like the way, until he actually went to the board meeting, I liked the way Coach Taylor handled it, because that's similar to how coaches would handle it. It's I'm not going. They know what I did. They know my resume.
Yeah.
They know, I'm not going to go defend myself, right? A lot of coaches have handled it that way as well, where it's their mind's either already made up and I don't need to, or there's no reason for me to go and convince them, right? That beg to them that I should have more chances. They know what they want to do. So I agree. That does happen, and I kind of like the way. I wish he wouldn't have gone.
Right.
I wish he would have just said, I have a state title. They know what I'm building here. My resume speaks for itself. They can make the decision.
Yeah.
So
he kind of says like it'd be desperate. It comes across as
it comes across as desperate.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. And this is a good example of me not seeing the forest for the trees, and Ishmael reminded me that this would be a good one. Right or wrong, JD McCoy's and his dad's exists.
Yeah. Like you see.
Like I could probably name like 4 or 5 off the top of my head.
Right.
Now.
I'm thinking of 3. Right.
That's
we're all thinking of some.
I think we're probably all thinking of the same 3, especially.
Probably.
Quarterbacks and their dads.
Or it's kids that have been brought up.
And where I have no issue with the kids.
Right.
And it's all their dads.
Yeah. And the show does the same way. Like, as far as the show's concerned, I like JD McCoy, right? Like, he's fine.
Yeah.
He's just stuck in a weird spot.
Yeah. He's kind of wide-eyed and like, oh, what's kind of happening? My dad's always telling me not to do this, not to do that, but he's kind of an okay kid. We've seen kids getting brought up through the quarterback circuit and groomed to be an NFL quarterback, a lesser version of Todd Marinovich, so to speak. But yeah, we've seen that happen.
There was a lot. Once again, the thing with Joe McCoy, which is the helicopter dad, JD's dad, was that there are a lot of elements that spoke to me in a very real way. Just being a helicopter dad, being all over the coach, having a private quarterback coach, stuff like that. Wade Aikman, which
good. Some
of the names, guys.
I know.
By the way, interim offensive coordinator Wade Aikman.
Yeah,
that was funny. But anyway.
So like all those things, but again, my issue was that they just kind of turned it up to to 15.
Sure,
and that's really the only issue. But absolutely, positively, yes,
Yeah.
This happens every single year, every single class. There are a couple of fathers who make it extremely hard to root for their sons.
Moving on to memorable moments, unless one of you guys thought of a right or wrong before.
Can we?
Okay.
Can right or wrong? Because I just thought of this. Right or wrong? Upon getting ousted at a place where you won a state championship, you would just say, "Yeah, I'll take the job at the new program across town that is apparently run down."
It's funny you mentioned this. I actually thought about including this in right or wrong. I thought maybe we should save it for the next season when he actually is like taking the job.
Sure.
But we can address it now and not like
I'll just say
Coach
this.
Taylor has his choice of places to go.
Absolutely.
And he does not need to just mosey across town and rebuild a non-existent program.
Yes. That's a good way. We can address it further in
apparently Arnett Mead's looking for coaches all the time. So they can just go to Arnett Mead.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, like
Laramie.
Westerby. Like, they're all just changing coaches. Like,
yeah. Yes. We'll leave it there. We'll talk about that in the next episode.
Yeah. It'll definitely get covered, I am sure. Memorable moments. This is a kind of a right or wrong because we finally get some answers on the size of this school.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, they're playing for the 5A state championship, which back then, that's today's equivalent of 6A. The biggest classification possible. That's the state championship they're playing for. They don't say Division 1 or Division 2. We're going to leave that where it is. But we also find out in and around the same episode that when they split the schools, East Dillon and Dillon, West Dillon, I guess is what it's going to be. Don't even get me started there. It would just stay Dillon. Would each roughly have 1,000 students.
Okay. So this show was shot in 2008.
Yep.
And so I've pulled up the 2008 alignments, UIL alignments. And it is not impossible for this to be the case. That like for now here's the thing. 2,000 kids, which is what we're to believe, right? 1,000 plus 1,000 would be 2,000. That would not be a 5A school, a 6A school. That would not be at the largest classification. That's where they go wrong. But here is what I don't understand. If you're like that would be, or if it is, it would be right over the line. It would be like the smallest smallest one in Class 5A. The idea of splitting it and then them both playing at the same level, at the highest level.
Well, we don't know that.
We don't know that.
Yeah.
If they drop in classification, okay.
Yeah.
That's something that I'm ready to see and hear. We'd have some realism here.
Yeah.
But for example, this happens a lot where you will have towns that open up a new school. And what either happens is that you have one school stay the same and the other school is at a lower classification. For example, this happened in Midlothian. Midlothian opened Midlothian Heritage, and they went from having a 5A to having a 5A and a 4A. Yeah. Or you have a situation where you open up a school and it splits and it drops them both down. Yeah. This happened in, for example, Justin. When Justin Northwest was the only school, they open up Byron Nelson and suddenly they go down and instead of being one 6A school, they drop it down to two 5As. That is what would happen. It's math, guys. Yeah. It's the idea of like you have the same number of kids, you're pouring them in different beakers. Well, it's the same amount of liquid.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. This was something. The problem the problem was they put a number on it. Yeah. If they had kept it vague, I would have been like, this is just vaguely dumb. Yeah. Now I can say this is specifically dumb.
They could have just as easily said they'll have roughly the same number of students and not said the number, and
yes.
they wouldn't even be having this debate.
Correct.
And also, I like how like the booster club is just like, oh, we'll redraw the district lines.
Right. Man, this booster club.
Yeah, man. Dude, this booster
and then
club.
The principal is like, can they do that?
And it's like, no, they can't.
No, it's the booster club.
Tammy, speak up.
Anyway, that was just so absurd that I didn't even.
I think we just have to accept that the booster club is the board. Is basically like
that's the thing. It's the proxy for the board.
Yeah, it just doesn't. Yeah. Very quick little shout out. Smash gets heard at the beginning. Is that that's kind of like a little Booby Miles shout out?
That's got to be right.
Yeah, I thought
Smash's knee, college career might be over.
I thought Street kind of had a little bit of the Booby Miles story.
Yeah, a little bit too.
But no, Smash kind of directly when you take in the personality and the fact that he's a running back, and I think it's more directly related to.
He smashes his knee. And he was never getting recruited by A&M to begin with. And then he's going to walk on at A&M, and by the end of the year, we hear that he's a star.
Which leads to my next point. Smash decides not only can his knee keep him out of D1 powerhouses, but basically he just can't play football of any size ever again. Like, he just can't. I can't play football, coach. So I can't play at A&M. I also can't play at Hardin-Simmons, basically, is the premise.
Here's my thing. Whitmore pulls his scholarship.
Right.
If you're Whitmore, I'm assuming Whitmore is like Texas Southern or something.
You
get a 5-star recruit. I don't care. He could be missing both of his legs.
Yeah,
and he still has his scholarship.
Yeah. You're honoring that scholarship for Jason Street, okay?
Yeah.
You're like, hey, you never know. He can walk again. Like,
yes,
you are absolutely getting that dude on campus.
Yeah.
That's something that I wish they would have gone more into depth. It's like, was it just the injury, or did something happen with Whitmore? Because man, they are loving you there.
I had the same thought. And I'm glad you brought that up because that is an excellent point. They are standing by him through everything.
Yes. Coach is massaging his leg during rehab. Like, he's like, come on, work, baby.
Boy, it's fine. We got to wait 3 years. That's okay.
It's okay.
I also like how, like, the redemptions, like the come to Jesus moment between he and Coach. Coach is like, come with me. And then they play racquetball?
Yeah.
What? Like, it'd be one thing if, like, we knew, like, racquetball was a thing before. It's like
they just
show
play
up
racquetball.
a racquetball court in Dillon, Texas.
Yeah.
Like, we couldn't just, like, not to be stereotypical, like, we couldn't just go play hoops.
Yeah.
Like, we just shoot
a more recreational
we
sport
couldn't
that
go
everybody
throw
plays.
the football around.
Right. Like anything.
Like, we have to go play
run a fly. Yeah.
Racquetball.
Go run a fly route, smash.
Like, even with basketball, like, you could see, like, oh, his knee's fine.
Yeah.
Like,
he's jumping around or doing something.
I'm trying to
I think that was part of it. Like, look how quickly he's moving. Like,
right. But you could have done that with basketball.
Right.
Something more pickup than racquetball. Like, there's a lot of effort that goes into playing racquetball.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of, like, if I needed to find a racquetball court right now.
Right. Where would you go?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Maybe there's this, like, secret underground racquetball.
I guess so.
Like
maybe
industry.
Maybe.
And we don't know about it?
Is
racquetball huge and I don't know about it?
I don't know. It's really weird. I feel like if you want to know where a racquetball court is, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But like you said, if you told me today, like, go find a racquetball court, I'd be like.
Can I also say this? Like, maybe this is. Man, we're really caught up on the racquetball thing.
It's just so random that's the moment.
Yes.
There is nothing in the Coach Taylor, like, character profile that makes me think he knows, like, plays racquetball.
Yeah, like, there's no, like, elitism to him or anything.
He is,
or, like,
and I'm not here to say that you have to be elite to play racquetball.
But it's just a random curveball.
What?
I don't know.
It seems like a It's a real white collar sport.
Yeah.
There's like this big pivotal moment, and it was a good talk, and the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm like, where is this racquetball club?
Maybe the Dillon racquetball team's amazing. I don't know about it. I don't know. I don't know. Racquetball's not a UIL sport, though.
Do you guys remember I'll put the screen grab up while I'm talking about this, but do you remember the slow zoom in on Buddy's face when he realizes that Tim and Lyla are together? and I got to be honest.
Same.
That face spoke
Same.
for all of us. It spoke for all of us.
Same.
That's the face I was making.
It was there's a number of GIFs that I wish I could put up right now that would kind of illustrate the look, but it's basically just one of those.
I'm gonna start gifting season 3, I think, or this is season 4.
Really? You guys, huh? Just together? Okay, yeah. It was
This
just like
is
a
a
slow
thing.
zoom in. There's one of a basketball coach who's just like staring like. And that's the one that I keep thinking of.
Yeah.
I can't remember which basketball coach it is. Which
I know
NBA coach it is.
when the season opened with them two, I'm like, oh no,
God.
here we go.
It's like
By the way, she's just done with that whole religion thing.
that's just over.
Yeah.
Like we come back, religion's over. Tim is the man.
Well, it's not like she got anything out of it.
No.
She got a boyfriend. I don't know. He seemed like an okay guy.
Nice,
Yeah.
Jesus loving.
He's to the curse.
Did her radio show get canceled?
Probably.
I
said, all that's just forgotten.
She probably had Tim on once and he was drunk and it didn't go.
Well, no,
Radio.
he was on.
Well, I know that.
He had his
I know
own
that,
show.
I know that, but he ruined her show too.
Right.
Maybe Landry killed the program director.
Yeah.
Maybe he killed the boyfriend.
Oh,
Killer Landry's back.
Hashtag Killer Landry.
We'll get some more killing in a second. But the one thing I was like, Buddy's face looks like what happens when the doctor tells you need to have a proctology exam. Just have to have the finger. It's like the.
He's like, well,
Okay.
God.
Speaking of killers, Grandma asks for her milk to be microwaved.
Yeah.
Is she the real killer?
I gotta tell you,
she's from that generation.
Oh,
That warm glass of milk generation.
Like warm glass of shut the hell up.
yeah.
Yeah, the microwaving the milk though,
Ooh.
because there's a way to warm milk.
You just leave it room temperature.
Yeah, just leave it at room temperature, or
Yeah.
you put it in a kettle or
Yeah.
something
Like,
like.
gonna throw it in the microwave. Get it
no.
nice and
Nuke
bubbly.
it.
Bubbling. Those dairy bubbles foam up. Yeah.
Man, have you guys ever microwaving drinks is always like a real
weird.
dicey proposition.
That's
Heck,
weird.
microwaving like soup is a dicey proposition.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't know.
weird.
There's definitely some dark past
Look,
in for grandma.
she snaps pretty easily. Is all I'm
Yeah, she
saying.
does.
She snaps
I
easily.
think we
and
know
a
that
lot.
there's other reasons why she
I
snapped.
mean, she sets the house on fire.
But
she
wouldn't
does- I
you
mean,
fake dementia if you were trying to get away with murder?
Now you're following the money, Thompson.
Oh, here we go.
That's what I'm saying.
Killer Grandma.
Uh,
Killer Grandma Saracen.
speaking of implausible plots, JD, a freshman, being carried off the field in his first game. I mean, we would have gotten the point without him being carried
I
off,
know.
guys.
Yeah.
It's just not happening.
Like
It's not happening.
If they would have like surrounded him,
Yeah.
like, oh, freshman got in the
Like,
game.
great job.
Oh, yeah,
Stuff
know.
like that. Guys,
They didn't
I-
need to carry him
I-
off.
that's
Hoisted
one-
him
It's
up.
doing too much.
That's one thing that I think that people don't necessarily like. This show has not done a good job of is illustrating on a football team. Like, yes, you're all one team and you're all pulling the rope in the same direction, but like the seniors are looking at the freshmen with a side eye.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, they're annoyed that they have to deal with it.
Yes, they absolutely are. In the same way that when you're in high school, if you're just a student, if you're a senior, you're looking at the freshman like.
Yeah. If I was
This guy.
because
Because that's when you start to realize like generational gap.
Yes.
It's
Right.
like that's when you start to realize like, oh, this guy just came up from middle school. This is weird.
We've all been seniors, and I would like to think that we're all relatively nice seniors.
Yeah.
If a freshman
Relatively.
pulled me out of a burning building
Yeah.
and ran through traffic with my limp body,
Yeah.
and then got me to the other side of the street, after all of that, I'd be like, "Good job."
Yeah.
And then, and then you know what I do the next day?
Ignore him.
I'd shove him in a locker.
Yeah.
Something like that. You know what I mean? Like, yes.
Yeah.
That's
It's like,
that's,
huh, he
that's
forget-
what's like.
I'd be
there's-
like, you forgot my phone.
like for a universe in which hazing exists.
Yeah.
We have seen
Right,
hazing.
yeah. This
in
season we saw
It's
hazing.
like so JD McCoy is just gonna get to like walk in and
Yeah.
because he's great, nobody's gonna touch him.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
In fact, that's the reason you
Yeah.
mess with him.
Well, but then they made him do the naked mile, so.
That's-
the nomination for biggest eye roll of the season has to be the tattoo argument in the family. Is this 1994?
This was, you know
Is
what,
this
man?
CBS
The most
evening television.
unintruding
Is this an
tattoo of all time.
Is this an episode of Picket Fences?
Dude, this is Family Ties is what this is.
Oh,
this was
yeah.
extremely, this was extremely, TGIF.
You got
Oh
a
my
tattoo
gosh.
in one of the most coverable areas on your body?
It's
Go
tiny.
remove it.
Oh my gosh, you got a tattoo! Ba 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 bum.
Yeah. Like,
And
if
then they go to commercial for a toy.
If it was somewhere else, if it were on her forearm or something more
Right.
exposed,
Right.
sure,
Now,
okay.
if it's a
but
neck
it's
tattoo.
an ankle, yeah. If it's an ankle,
Yeah.
I am
cares?
absolutely here though for an alternate universe in which Julie Taylor gets the Mike Tyson face tattoo.
just straight up
shows up.
tear.
Like, sup?
He's got a tear. Landry should
Landry shows up with a tear. He shows up with another tear, and then the next episode, he shows up with another one, and nobody ever mentions
No
it.
one says a thing.
Grandma's got some tears.
Oh God.
But yeah, if the conversation went oh, you got a tattoo, it was well, I wish you would have waited, and they're kind of annoyed, but not
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
we're gonna go remove it right now. Yeah, she could be annoyed, but not stop family. This is family
This
drama.
is the
now.
whole episode.
Again,
Right, yeah.
Again, one of the problems I have, I would say, with the season is that for the first time, the most consistent characters, the Taylors,
Yeah.
Tami and Coach. I don't even know his
Eric.
thank you.
Coach.
Tami, Coach and Mrs. Coach.
Yeah.
They are suddenly the smallest thing will send them off the
they've
rails.
completely lost their compasses.
And I understand there were other parts of it where that didn't happen. For example, when they found out that they were sleeping together.
Yeah.
Right.
I
handled
thought
that pretty well.
I thought
Yep.
they handled that extremely well,
Yeah.
and I thought that was very realistic in the way that they did that. But then it's oh my God, you got a tattoo! Wah! I don't know.
It was a bit much. If Matt Saracen didn't look convincing throwing a football,
Whoa.
he sure didn't improve things by trying to look convincing as a receiver.
Now that does happen, by the
Oh,
way.
it absolutely
Is that
happens.
you have that a lot where you have
Yeah.
the backup quarterback. It's happened in every year. You have the guy that he's starting a receiver, and you talk to folks around the program. They go, oh yeah, by the way, that's next year's quarterback.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you want them to run routes because
Yeah.
you want them to understand the
Yeah.
route tree for when they have to throw the ball.
Yeah.
But Matt Saracen just appears to be bad at football.
Yeah.
In all aspects. Have we tried him on defense?
Ooh,
I don't know.
feel like it'd be worse.
We're not going to
we're
because
not
he's off to some oddly named something
Chicago
College of the
Institute of Art.
Institute of the Arts.
Yeah.
in
or
Chicago.
something.
Yeah. Finally, memorable moments. Coach Taylor, he really likes cream in his morning coffee. It becomes like a morning scene.
Here we go.
And look, people have opinions. This is a Tepper moment because I know this struck to the core of Tepper, a man who is trying to understand Coach Taylor and be on his side.
I
Go on.
I want to love Coach Taylor. I want to because he seems like a good guy. But then he goes and he does something like this. He breaks my heart. He breaks my heart because, guys, coffee is great without anything in it. And beyond that, here's the most implausible part of this, okay? The most implausible part is that the place that Coach Taylor is going to be drinking the majority of his lifetime coffee is in a field house. Do you know who is making the field house coffee? The defensive backs coach or the JV coach or something like that. And you know what they suck at? Making coffee!
I do like that when he's looking for the
And they would
the
never have
creamer.
why
I
would you
love
bring
that
the
when he's looking
cream?
for the creamer, though. Tammy's like, "Oh no, we're out, but you can have some of mine. It's real good."
Let me ask you a question. What percentage of field houses in
Yeah.
the state of Texas have cream in them right now? Less than 30%?
I'm gonna say actually, Tepper, that it's probably a number that's gonna disappoint you. I know.
This is I'm
know.
willing to die on
You
this
know,
hill
you
that,
know.
that putting
I know.
stuff in your coffee is bad.
I
Sure.
know.
But
I know.
That's
But I'm
fine.
just-
It broke my heart.
Okay.
It broke my heart. I want to love Coach Taylor, and instead he drinks his coffee like a
any.
jackass.
Yeah. Any memorable moments that we skipped over before we get to script gripes? I think we covered it's more than we usually do.
Something we didn't really talk about, but the Buddy Garrity, Tami Taylor Jumbotron conversation.
Oh God.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
True.
something.
So Buddy
That's
Garrity
true.
wants the
That's true.
Jumbotron.
It became very convoluted in the mechanism, so I think
Right.
it's not an easy right or wrong, but I think it's good that you bring it up.
But again, the Booster Club is apparently like the Booster Club and the school board like rolled into one.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you got to view Buddy Garrity's role in this. So he wants this Jumbotron, while Tami Taylor takes over a school that's like broke. Like apparently they're just like flat out broke.
Right.
They,
Also
they have to
he's-
choose between chalk and like something. You have to choose between like chalk and toilet paper or something like
yeah,
that.
something like that. Yeah.
And you guys want to roll out a bunch of money for a Jumbotron? Now that's definitely a conversation, but here's the thing. If you wanted a Jumbotron, I don't know, they put a number on it. I can't remember what it was. I didn't write it down. That's enough that you would bond it.
Yeah.
Like you would put that up for a vote that like, for example, the people who are outside of Texas, hello, thank you for
It would
watching.
be a rider and a bond.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that you see all these major stadiums that are being built here, Allen and McKinney and Katy and all these giant stadiums. Those are voted on by, that money is voted on by the taxpayers who agree, okay, you can increase our sales tax, you can increase the hotel tax or something like that, or property taxes to raise the money for these stadiums. Like there is certainly an amount of money that they have, like a discretionary fund, but I don't think that would pay for a Jumbotron.
No,
Maybe. I mean, the one thing I'll say though is I do know that more and more districts will get stuff donated to them, or
Sure.
or you know,
Yes.
someone who has a holding in a turf company
Mm-hmm. That's a good.
means
That's a good
that
point.
you can get free turf.
Yes.
You know, I've seen that happen.
Or what if like Buddy Garrity, a lot more likely would have been if Buddy Garrity said, "Hey, I want it to be the Buddy Garrity Jumbotron, Buddy
Right.
Garrity Motors
Yeah, there you
Jumbotron.
go.
I'm going to pay for 66% of it.
Yeah.
I need you guys to fork over the rest of it."
Yeah.
That would be
Or he
more
gets
believable.
he gets like a stadium deal or something.
Yeah.
Like the Garrity
Garrity
Motors
Motor-
wing or
Yeah.
Garrity Motors end zone or something
Yes.
like that.
Yeah.
Instead, he goes, "Hey Tammy, we'll get a Jumbotron."
Also, he puts some of this money in, and by the end of the series, he has bankrupted
Oh, yeah.
his daughter's college fund. So, Buddy with the MVP award again.
Oh man.
All right, script
Buddy
gripes,
Garrity.
script gripes, and I will start.
Go for it.
I used to hate Lyla. I still hate Lyla. But now I'm more angry at the writers for making her the woman who has to fix broken men all the time.
Here's why I think they do a good job of showing that that's her flaw in her character. Is that she's convinced herself consistently that that's what she deserves. And I feel like they do a good job. Like no, in a vacuum, I agree.
Yeah.
In a vacuum, the woman shouldn't have to fix the broken dude.
Yeah.
But I feel like they've done a good job of saying that she's just saying, "Nope, this is my life. This is
Yeah.
what I'm gonna do.
I gotta
look
be this
look at my
person."
sister. Gotta
Yeah.
go with these type of dudes." And
Yeah.
if it was somebody like,
Well, no,
if it was somebody
Lyla, not Tyra.
Okay, never mind. You
Yeah.
you got me then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree then.
Tyra's arc is awesome.
Right.
Tyra is fine.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
never
yeah,
mind.
yeah,
You got it. Yeah, I got it confused.
No,
but
sorry.
yes, no, I agree. Lila,
In general, I know you
in
feel the
general,
same
right?
as me.
She literally tries
woman
to help.
woman who has to fix broken men is such a
Right.
terrible
She
trope.
tries to help Jason Street. Doesn't work out. She's now trying to help Tim Riggins.
She's always trying to fix her
Sage,
dad.
She's trying to fix her dad.
Ugh.
Yeah, there's so many different things. She's trying to even her siblings, like her,
Yeah.
her like
I can fix it.
She can fix
I
everything,
can
and
fix it.
she can't fix really anything. It's not her job to fix anything, at least.
Script gripe.
Script gripes. One, so just a big time New York sports agent just wandering through Dillon, Texas, huh? Wow. Look at you.
Yeah.
Did you come in for the Applebee's?
Lee Steinberg.
Yeah,
is
he's
here.
just walking through Dillon,
Ken
Texas.
Rosenthal.
And Jason Street catches his eye, and then he goes to New York. I mean, and then there's like, I appreciated the Jason Street arc for the most part.
It worked.
I'm
He's
glad
still really
gone.
fickle.
He's
Yeah.
super
He's
fickle.
still like, I can do this now and make money.
I'm glad he's gone. Yeah, he can do anything. Apparently, he can sell cars. He can be a sports agent with
Right.
no,
Right.
He's
training.
like, this is my way out of
Yeah.
Dillon.
That one was a little bit much. Also, who's getting that house loan for when they're gonna flip the? Like, this is in the financial crash,
I know.
guys.
I know.
I
This
know.
is literally in
I
the
know.
midst of
Who's getting that? Who's getting that home
Foreclosure.
loan
I don't know.
to flip
Housing
Buddy
crisis.
Garrity's house?
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah, with like no income and no
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
else. Like
Herc got
I-
just a bunch of
I
like.
guess.
But, have we checked Herc's FICO score?
I don't know. I don't know. Ish, your script gripe.
I don't know. I feel like everything's going to be nitpicky, and I think the Lyla one's a good one.
Have you seen the show?
This was the best written season.
I was about to say this was the best
It was.
written season. I think a lot of the specific script grabs would be like, "Oh, I didn't like the way they did that. I didn't
Yeah.
like the way they did that." In the logic of the show, I'm kind of okay with a lot of it. This year, so.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with that too. Spotted.
Mm-hmm.
We start off with DCTF, the JD McCoy
Yeah,
issue.
we have a freshman issue apparently.
Greg, did you know that you're putting freshman high school football players on the cover now?
Well, they do say it's a freshman issue. Like this is the special edition freshman issue. So like that's what caught my ear. I was like, oh, we do a freshman magazine.
To be
now.
fair, we do a recruiting magazine.
We do
that
a
does have
recruiting
freshmen
magazine.
in it.
Right? You putting a freshman on the cover?
Not putting a freshman on the cover.
That made me so crazy. Oh my god!
This is my
guys.
life you're playing with. This is my life.
You're gonna put a freshman? We haven't even put a junior on the cover.
Yeah.
But hey, he's setting middle school records,
Yeah,
so
right.
you gotta.
One quick reverse script gripe. Santiago. That just never gets tied up. That's just like he just was there and now he's not. And
Oh yeah.
Santiago. Like he's
He's
just
I
just
think
gone.
we know the answer to that.
Oh.
Are they
he's
just
the real
saying
killer.
He's gone. Are they just saying he's gone?
He's the real killer. Oh no, or Landry killed him. Ah, there we go.
There you go.
Okay. All right.
There you go. No, he went back with Carlotta to her home planet.
God. Yeah. Maynard.
Yeah.
Yeah, Maynard, Texas stand
I didn't notice until Coach Taylor got kicked out. Then they showed
Yeah.
the red press box and then
Yeah.
the red entrance. By the way, he left through the fan entrance. Like he didn't leave through the player entrance.
Yeah.
He left through the fan.
And
gate. I
also,
thought that was
like,
really
there's a
interesting.
bar behind the stadium.
Right. Like 2 seconds later, there's a bar.
He's in a bar. Like,
By the
it's
way,
just with the game on TV.
Right, yeah, with the
Yeah.
game on TV. But yeah, that's Maynard's old stadium. Now where Maynard New Tech played, that's where me and all of my family played football, basically.
Woo! Baby.
But yeah, there's not a bar nearby. That's literally it's literally just the high school right next to
You
it.
mean you wouldn't polish off a victory and
Yeah,
then
go have a
walk
cold one.
across it? Yeah, knock
With
back a few.
With a scotch in the barn behind the field.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
Grass at DKR.
Yeah.
Back in the day, man.
Oh,
guess
good times.
Back
Good times.
in the day. I didn't have many other spots because
No.
we'd just be kind of
No, Texas State's back. This time
Well,
it's Texas
yeah.
A&M.
Yeah, it's
I was like, oh, it's
Yeah,
it's
they
TMU,
just-
it's Texas
They
A&M.
just, they just put A&M stuff over like the
Yeah,
Bobcat Stadium stuff.
we've gone
They
now.
basically shot everything at field level to make it not seem like it was the same stadium.
Right. It's like
Yeah.
I guess
Why could we reference UT in the first two seasons, but then A&M like didn't get a mention, and then suddenly
boom, here they are.
yeah,
Yeah,
here they are.
home of the 12th man,
Yeah.
right there.
There it is.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Because Kyle Field was shut off too because
But
they got access to a lot of stadiums.
But the
Apparently they couldn't get access to
But
Kyle
then the
Field.
funniest part is like Jason Street's old teammate. He's like, oh yeah, no, he's really doing well at A&M. It's Penn A&M. Like we couldn't just say he was at Texas A&M. Why couldn't we say that?
Or Penn State, like something. That had
Why
to be-
why did it have to be Penn A&M?
There's
By the way,
So-
does Pennsylvania have an agriculture school?
Yeah, that's weird.
Because it's A&M, right?
He's
Architect-
wearing a
or
Penn. I think, and the thing is, I think he says Penn A&M, and then like I think at some point they're like, we got to fly to College Station. I think they say that or something like that. I'm so confused. Anyway,
Oh, guys!
quick
I
addition.
better way
swear
to
we
do it.
liked the season
I know.
overall.
We
I was
did.
about to say, yeah,
we have
we
said they've
did.
done a good job on more things than the other two seasons.
Yeah.
Quick wife thought.
Mhm.
I don't know about you, Tepper. I was warned in advance because your wife has seen it. My wife has seen it. She says Julie becomes the worst, and I was like, that can't be possible. She's so lovely in the first season.
Right.
She's
And
she's
then
great.
Yeah.
She's the worst in this season.
Mm.
Julie is the first like 8 episodes. It's like what,
My wife tapped out.
and then like after that she's fine.
Yeah.
But it's like
She ends fine.
She ends fine. It's just-
Yeah.
Your wife tapped out. I don't
She's
blame her.
done.
I don't blame her. I don't blame her. MVP.
Boy.
I think this is easy, and it's because it's trickier because it's a smaller part, but I think it's absolutely the best arc and it's handled the best.
Go for it.
Smashing his mom,
Yeah.
smashing his mom in those 2 episodes where it kind of comes to a crescendo for him.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
I am not going to miss Jason Street,
No, I know you're not.
but I will miss Smash.
I will miss.
Yeah.
I will miss Smash. I
I
thought that he
definitely will
was he
It
was
was
good.
it was a messy character at first.
Yeah.
I like how they tied it up at the end.
Yeah. I will go with. I think Matt Saracen.
Okay.
If only
good one.
because again he was kind of obviously a focal point of the season, but I also thought that he was able to like, I thought he showed pretty good range, and I thought he showed pretty impressive, that the ups and downs, and he played it pretty realistic. I thought that Matt Saracen was probably the MVP.
Can I add something that's weird about that whole thing though?
Sure.
Is at the end of season 2, this is one thing that did not connect.
Yeah.
They have that scene where he, Coach Taylor grabs him and throws him in the shower and turns it on. He's like, "What the hell's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Everyone leaves me," and it hits Taylor like a ton of bricks. That
Right.
This kid is like not abused.
Has
but
too much on his plate.
He's not abused, but he's been beat up
Right.
by everyone in his life.
Right.
And to me, that's like a really great moment. Like, oh, I realize like I've got to handle him differently.
Mhm.
Like he's a good kid, and I need to handle him differently. We are 3/4 of this through this season, and it doesn't like. All he wants is like, just let me play receiver. If he learned anything, he lets him play receiver. Like, you know what? I may lose my backup quarterback, but this kid earns it. I'll bleep that. But this kid earns it.
Yeah.
This kid earns it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I got to let this go
Yeah.
because I have seen what he's been through. But no, it's like, no. And it takes his daughter
Yeah.
Right.
creating an awkward situation at dinner for him to be like, I'll think about it.
By the way, girlfriend of the year.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
Right.
bringing it up
Right.
randomly.
Right.
Like,
Right. But just, what?
Yeah.
Come on, give me some continuity with the character.
That's
Because,
fair.
like, I want to believe in Coach Taylor.
Right.
Yeah.
He's got to connect those dots.
That's fair.
Killing me.
I like that.
Killing me.
My MVP hinted at her a little bit earlier. Tyra.
Yeah.
Her arc
Yeah.
was really, really
was
well
good.
done.
It was good.
It's not even a straight arc. She
Yeah.
has some valleys. She goes,
Yeah.
she goes out with what's his
Good
face,
bad,
the cowboy.
Good bad.
Cash.
Cash the cowboy, the rodeo,
Yeah.
the rodeo bro.
We're told he leaves, but
And,
they do have a tie,
um,
a red-headed tie
but
with a history.
Oh, God.
but yeah, no, I like the peaks and valleys with her,
Yeah.
and then finally it ends with her realizing what she's done wrong to Landry, what she's I appreciated her, so I am gonna go with her as the MVP.
That's pretty good.
I think that's good. Who's the worst?
Boy.
Oh, you got some new nominations this year.
You really do. This, I want to be clear. That it pains me to say this. It pains me. I do not appreciate what I'm about to say.
Uh-oh.
But you know who was terrible this season overall? It's Tami Taylor.
Tammy was not great.
I'm telling you, whereas they didn't go in and make it constant screaming matches between Julie and Tammy.
Right.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But there was so much about her that was out of character.
Mm-hmm.
That first of all, she gave the principal. You need certification for that, y'all. You need to go to you need to have a specific degree for that.
Yeah.
Between that, she suddenly becomes very dumb at really opportune times for the plot, where she's dumb when she deals with Buddy Garrity, and she's dumb when she deals with Mrs. McCoy, and
That's what bugged me.
yeah, it's
She's like Coach Taylor's like you're getting worked. Like
Yeah.
you're clearly getting worked. She's come on, it's fine.
I can't have a friend.
she was
friend.
again. There was what I loved about Tammy in the first season and parts of the second season was that
cagey,
she
man.
was she was the constant.
Yeah.
Yep.
She was the compass. She was magnetic north. And in this season, she just wasn't. And it was just and I understand that you want to create that nobody can be perfect, and I'm not asking for Tami Taylor to be perfect, but I'm asking her to not be a convenient dumbass.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what she was in this season.
Yeah, I
That's
would
fair.
agree. I get that the point is I'm supposed to hate him, but boy, it just hits too close to home. I really wish Joe McCoy would get punted into the sun.
Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah,
He's just-
he really does.
But he's a great villain.
He's a great
Yeah.
great villain.
I was there's an argument for him being MVP because of what he said.
Yes.
Yes.
Just
He's
as a-
really, really good.
As a media guy who has dealt with a lot of helicopter parents,
Yeah.
I want him punted into the
Yeah.
sun.
I'll agree with that. Breaks my streak with Lyla.
Yeah.
She's still bad,
Yeah.
but
She's still bottom half.
she's still bottom half. I guess here's the thing. If we're going by worst, McCoy, yes, he's worse in terms of hate characters you hate for the sake for he has a purpose to be hated. Lila's just kind of a bad character still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm willing to give a two-pronged answer in terms of one who's actually a bad character with Lyla still, and then one who's you're kind of supposed to hate.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. What did you love?
I loved the last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
I loved how they handled that. I love that Dillon was on the opposite end of a miracle.
And I
It
thought-
was just a last second field goal.
It's a
Right.
weird
But
thing with like the pacing and tempo and the way they set that up, you knew they were going to lose.
oh yeah, they are going to lose.
And your heart is slowly getting ripped out with them. It
Yeah.
was great.
Yeah.
They did great. It was way better than the
excellent.
other state titles.
Yes,
Right.
I loved that,
Yeah.
and then I also loved that the last episode was not like the immediate aftermath, because we've
Right.
seen that. Instead, like I love that they set it up that it was like, oh, we're at a baseball game.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that tells me everything I
Yeah.
need to know.
Yeah.
We have now flashed forward a significant amount of time, and it was. I appreciate that obviously they wrote this episode without knowing if they were going to get another season.
Sure.
Right.
And if the series ended right now, it would have been okay.
It would have been okay.
They had wrapped up everything with the main characters.
Yeah.
They'd put a little bow on everything,
Mm-hmm.
but they also left open that okay, well, I'm gonna go coach at East Dillon.
Yeah,
and
I'm
so-
gonna build this program up from
Yes.
the ground up. You know, it looks like a pile of nothing right now, but I'm putting my stamp on
But
it.
if and even if
some
they
optimism.
even if that would have ended there,
Yeah.
it would have been okay.
Right.
But it also cracked open the door. I thought the last 2 episodes were some of the best, maybe the 2 best in this season.
I
Or series,
completely
I
agree. By the way, they gave South Texas a state title.
Yeah, they did.
Let's
Region
go.
4.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Region 4.
Yeah.
I was happy about that. I was like,
know.
let's go.
I know. That was pretty funny.
No, I agree. The last 2 episodes were brilliantly done.
What would you change? One thing you would change?
Boy, one thing.
I would just make JD a sophomore.
Yeah,
I would
a
make JD a
transfer.
sophomore.
Something
Although they've done the
small.
transfer thing.
JD's a sophomore. I buy 90% more of this.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
a small little change that fixes a lot.
You know.
Yeah, that's not
That
bad.
is- that's a
and
great
you,
idea.
You throw in, you could even make Joe more crazy by saying, the last coach wouldn't even play him, and he was a freshman. He was already better than their senior.
Yeah,
Like, it all makes
a,
sense,
Yeah,
you
like
know?
a sophomore move-in
Yeah.
would have been a lot better
Yeah.
than the freshman hotshot who shows
Yeah.
up.
Right.
And then, but I don't
Anyway.
know. That's an easy fix.
Mhm.
Kind of like what we were talking about. How if you would like with the televised games, if you just put them on the radio, you already have radio announcers.
Yeah.
like that would have been that's an easy that's an unforced error is what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
I think I wouldn't have had JD get hit by his dad.
Okay.
That was the instant, like, of course you're supposed to hate this guy.
I
If
know.
you just had him being the helicopter dad that was just frustrated, like if he would have just walked away from his, after winning the game, if he would have just blown his son off after his son wins the game and he's just annoyed,
Yeah.
that would have been fine. I think we would have gotten it. It's like, oh, God, this guy sucks. Like, oh man,
Yeah.
we wanted him to win his way, and like he didn't, and he won another way. And
I think you're right, because the thing is that when he hits his kid, like in a small town,
Yeah.
everyone's
That
going to
gets
know
around.
about that.
That gets
Everyone's going to know
around.
about that, and then the idea that then he's going to lead the coup
Right.
against Eric Taylor,
Right.
that doesn't pass the smell test.
I think because again,
I think you could stop
that was,
it just
that was
sort
the,
of like he pins him. And
Yeah.
like maybe his fist stops right by
yeah,
his
like
face,
or
and you're
something like, or,
"Whoa."
and
it's
yeah,
like-
then
and
Taylor
it's like-
like then
yes.
Eric Taylor comes in. He's like,
Yeah.
"Whoa, what are you doing?" You know,
and then it's clear, and then it's clear, like that would send all the signals of like, oh, like this has happened at home. Like
Yeah.
if
Right,
we're
maybe,
seeing this
yeah,
here in
perhaps
front of
it's happened
people,
at home.
what happened at home, and
Right.
then you start, yeah.
I think that was a little too easy of an out to be
Yeah.
like, this guy sucks.
Look how
you
bad
know?
he is.
Oh, he's the
We're
evil
dressing him in
person.
black.
Right? Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. It's like, oh, he has a
It-
twirly
they-
mustache.
yeah.
But yeah, I think I would have stopped it just before
Yeah.
there because it's like that was you didn't need to go that far.
I agree.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. How realistic was the Texas high school football on the field, Greg Tepper?
Good.
Yeah.
I thought, again, like there's little things like the schemes,
The offense, yeah,
the
but that's
offenses,
kinda
and the. But I also think one thing we didn't we kind of glossed over is that there was a moment before they go fully to McCoy that they say we're going to do the 2 quarterback system, and I found that to be particularly believable because
Yeah.
there's a lot of coaches who will
Yeah.
do that. Be like, oh, especially early in the season, they'll say, you know what?
what
It's
we
an
got.
open competition. We're
Yeah.
going to alternate series. You see that,
Yeah.
and so I thought overall realistically on the field, I thought it was pretty
I'm
solid.
gonna give
Yeah.
it like a BB plus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, BB plus. How realistic was the Texas football, high school football off the field?
Probably the most realistic it's
Yes.
been.
Not probably still not in the same range. I'm gonna say instead of being like a D minus or an F, I'm gonna say maybe like a C.
I would
I'm
even
gonna
give it
say
like
B.
a C plus,
Okay.
B minus.
I'm gonna give
okay
it a
with
B
that.
minus B.
I thought
okay
that
with
I
that.
thought that again. I thought that the idea of like it became very clear again that when you're a Texas high school football coach, you're serving a lot of masters,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
and to me, they played that really well.
Yeah, they
All
played that. They played the Jumbotron storyline well.
Yes.
They played the incoming hotshot quarterback dealing
Yeah.
with his dad off the field really well.
Right.
A lot of the threads going. I didn't look at any storyline off the field. We can talk about how they handled it, obviously, but any storyline in its inception was like that happens.
Yeah,
or that's
absolutely.
believable.
I agree.
Yeah, I would agree. And what do you think happens next?
I have not seen it. But
Whoa!
I
Whoa!
stayed
Somebody didn't
behind,
cheat.
So
Okay.
I haven't. I did not see anything other than the screenshots of Coach Taylor in the black and red. So
I was going to
East
say,
is
I
clearly
think that
going
it's
to East Dillon.
yeah, and so obviously there will be, I'm sure it'll lead up to there. Like one of the big moments will be East Dillon versus Dillon,
Yeah.
right?
Maybe twice.
Maybe twice.
Once when
Yeah.
it goes poorly, and another time where it doesn't.
or it
Right.
doesn't
Yeah.
exactly. I don't know. I'm very interested to see because right now the other thing is that they have shoved off a lot of the characters.
Yeah.
they're going. To
Saracen
college
is
and they're
gone.
doing, yeah.
Saracen is gone. Street is gone.
Something
Riggins is
tells
gone.
me.
Thank God.
Something tells me Saracen and Riggins will be back, and they'll be a huge.
I was
part.
gonna say like
There's no
what,
way.
what we've shown with this season is that, and I kind of appreciate it, is that plans don't go right.
Yeah.
Like I kind of appreciate that Smash just didn't go to wherever.
Right.
Right. Like some things just
Yeah.
fall apart,
Right.
and I can kind of see that. By the way, there's no way Riggins is going to college.
I don't think
I-
after
I
what
do-
Saracen said with Grandma, I'd
I
be
don't-
surprised if Saracen's going to
Probably
college.
that too. But
Yeah.
like there is no way Riggins went from point A to point B, and he's just fine now.
Yeah.
Like I'm sorry, he's still Tim Riggins.
Also, just a very small thing, just a very, very minor thing.
Sure.
So Tyra is waiting to hear if she gets into Texas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know how hard it is to get into Texas?
Yes.
Yeah.
But she's like a
You
dum
heard
dum.
her, but that was a very convincing letter. That application letter was very good.
They don't read those letters. Let's be real.
Yeah, man.
They're
taking that, be like, you wrote a letter.
Top
check.
10%. Nope. All right. Cool.
Okay,
Bye.
fine.
Like, wait list.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's a great
I
letter.
would. I'm interested to see who they bring in as far as new characters are concerned, because they have to kind of restock
Yeah.
the town.
Yeah.
And
Well, we all know everyone's favorite Black Panther character is coming to town.
Oh yeah.
So Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan comes
Michael
in.
B. Jordan.
Coming
So
in
how
next
they
season.
how they handle
I
East
would
Dillon, like
genu-
what kind of school is East Dillon?
Here's
right?
what I'm
Like,
saying.
That's
like,
going to be a different
I
dynamic
would
too.
definitely be done with this. I'd be so miserable to have to watch next season if I didn't know that he was coming in. But since
Sure.
I know that Michael B. Jordan is one of the main characters now, I'm kind of excited to see how it goes.
Yeah.
is his name going to be Crash Billiams?
My friends call me Crash.
Some of these names remind me. Yeah. Some of these names remind me of. Have you ever seen that graphic that goes around like the Japanese video game designer in the '90s had to come up with American baseball names? And there's just like a screen of them with like these weird American amalgam names. I'll have to put it up when we do this, but it's pretty funny.
Bill Billiamson.
Yeah, it's that kind of stuff. It really is. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
No,
Let's get him,
I'm-
Crash.
I'm kind of looking forward because now we have. I mean, based off knowing that Michael B. Jordan comes into it, the fact that it's called East Dillon, I'm assuming we're gonna have some more racial dynamic plays involved.
Right.
Like I'm
Yeah.
kind of interested to see how this show goes now.
Yeah.
So
I am too.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm
All
actually
right.
looking forward to it. Look at that.
Amazing. All right, we'll see you guys for the next episode.